Some of us, we usually consider multitasking as a talent. And you say in the office, I can multitask, and somebody say, clock it. Stop clocking it. Multitasking is not an advantage. When you have too many things on your to-do list, the likelihood of you being very productive is very slim. What happens is that you have a lot of things that you have unfinished. What you should do is to embrace a concept in Japan called Kanban. So what we do with Kanban is we have a table, and in that table we have 4 columns. The first column will have the task you're about to embark on. The second column would have to do. The third column would have in progress, and the fourth column will have done. Once you're about to start a set of tasks, you move the ones that you're about to start into to do. Once they kick off, you move it into in progress, and when you finish, you move it to done. Please note, for this principle to work, you should not have more than 2 tasks in the column in progress at the same time. Limit the number of activities or tasks in progress to just 1. Are you following? So, Kanban for life. I'll tell you why I tagged this particular session Kanban for life. Now, and that's because I messed up somebody's life, and then I feel terrible, but then I'll tell you what happened afterwards. So during my master's days, what happened was that I used to do tutorials, but then the tutorials were kind of like customized and personalized. So this lady had contacted me that I was going to take her on a course called quantitative techniques, which was quite challenging for a lot of students in my MSc class at the time. So I started teaching her in preparation for the exam. Then somebody else called me who was in my friend circle, and then he asked me that I needed to explain something to him briefly. So I told the lady to pause, and the exam was the following day anyways. And then I started explaining to the man. So we were all virtually. So I told her to pause, that I would get back to her in 30 minutes. And I continued that explanation to that man, and that explanation took over 2 hours. And eventually, I couldn't get back to her because there was also a topic that I had to cover myself. And the issue was, I left her hanging. Even the man I was teaching himself, I couldn't even teach him the topic I did not know. And then I myself, I had to rush through. Luckily, I got an A. The man that I did the long explanation for got a B, and that lady got an E. And the E cost her an opportunity to finish with a PhD grade. And I feel responsible that I took up a task, or I took up more tasks than I could manage at the time. And I told myself that never again will I disappoint someone by taking on more tasks than I could manage. And that's the same concept I want to share here. And I want you guys to be very careful as regards to when it comes to taking up tasks, what you're able to do and what you can't do. And why I like Kanban is there is a principle behind Kanban that I would like to share. So it's called Kanban board, and Kanban is a Japanese concept that means signboard. So how does Kanban board work? So we would have a table, and on that table we'll have 4 columns. So let's set up a table with 4 columns. You can try and move with me. You can do that on your notes as well. And then maybe with 4 rows or 5 rows, okay? So in the first row we'll have tasks that we plan to complete. Then we have a status called to do. Then we'll have another status here called in progress, and then we have the last status called done. So if I were to use that example with on the unfortunate situation about the tutorial, so let's assume that I have tutorial sessions planned out. So I have tutorial with Nife. Okay, so I'm going to put all the tutorial sessions I'm going to have together here. So we have tutorial with Nife. Then we have tutorial with Ben, right? Then we have tutorial with, who am I having tutorial with? Anybody? Who? Joy. With Joy. I don't want to have tutorial with Joy. Sorry. Joy usually end up spending too much time on TikTok during the tutorial. Yeah. So clock it, Joy, clock it. Okay, then okay, Joy will take you, yeah? Then we'll have tutorial with our own developer called Bestman. So now I have all the tutorials. So on Monday, I have decided that I'm going to only do 2 tutorials on Monday. So I'm going to put them on the to-do list for Monday. That's with Nife and Ben. Then when I start the tutorial with Nife, so I'm going to take that here. So I'm going to move it from to do into what? In progress. But please note this here. I want you to note something. Now, when you have item in progress, so that you don't fall into the same trap that I did, do not have 2 items in progress at the same time. Unless you can run them concurrently, and then you will not lose productivity. But the best approach is to always have 1 item in progress at a time, and then when I'm done with Nike's tutorial, right, I will take it and I'll put it to what? So done. Does that make sense to us? Then I can move Ben into what? In progress once I start Ben's tutorial. And then when I'm done with Ben's tutorial, then I'll move it to what? To done. So I can now kick off to say, okay, I want to start my tutorial with Joy and Bestman. But I told you that Joy spends more time on TikTok, right? Yes. So I'm not going to start with her. No, so I'm going to start with Bestman. Yeah. I told you that was going to come and haunt you. But do you understand? What I don't want you to do is to always have this situation where you have 2 items in progress. And I know a lot of us do that. When you do this, you are going to fall into an in progress cycle where you have nothing really done. So please resist the idea of having 2 items or 2 tasks in progress. So always ensure that you have just 1 task in progress, and then when you're done with Bestman, take the task. As a matter of fact, I can even say that I'm not even doing the tutorial with Joy anymore, so I'm cancelling it. I'm just joking. So Joy, your last but not least, yeah? So with that, and then we'll take her in progress, and then we leave her in progress. Okay, though, so then we finish it, and then so we'll take her, and then at the end of the day, everybody's got an A. Okay? Please note that the story I told you is a parable. Thank you very much for your time.